Hey folks, episode 157 of the Phil Swallow podcast. So much to tell. Recording on Saturday the 26th of August 2023. And one of the reasons, if not the reason, there's so much to tell is because there's been a little gap since the last one. And I'm going to explain, whilst probably regularly referring to my notes, what's been going on in the interim. First referral to notes. Actually, the first check is, did I actually name it right? So much to tell you. I think I did. Okay, well, one of the big things that's happened that has connections, dependencies, I suppose, on other things, is that Sue and I have had a bit of a room swap. So we used two of the rooms in the house for our own kind of creative exploits, as it were. Albeit this room is the same room where I recorded the podcast. It's carpeted and deadened and stuff, so it's ideal for that. Sue does her self-tapes in here for acting, but she always had a preference for this room because it was hers originally, and there's a reason I can make make use of the other room because it's bigger. And I had basically a cubby hole kind of, the utility room is my studio, and it's far from ideal. And it does kind of make you think, how did you let it go like that for so long? So we did stuff about it. Now, one of the big things that needed to happen was for the main broadband connection point to come up here. We use Virgin Media Business Broadband, and I need a good, solid, wired connection for the various backups and file movements and even uploads that I'm doing here into YouTube. So that was a dependency from that perspective, and the main one really from where I was coming from. So that was done this week. There was a slight issue about where the guy could site the actual point or drill the wall. He had one of these multimeter things, stud detector, metal detector, you know what I mean, and voltage, and the metal one was off the scale. It was as if we had metal walls, which we haven't. I couldn't offer any explanation. He's not allowed to progress if it's red. It was red. Anyway, we got there, and it's sort of on the windowsill, and one thing and another we got there. So that was done Tuesday afternoon. So I've been putting stuff in there, and the inevitable kind of chops, changes, purchases that come. Made a couple of trips to IKEA. I seem to be returning as much as I'm buying at the moment, but anyway, that's another story. So I've now got my setup there. It's really cool, and I've been working on it this morning since quite early, doing some video editing, which will be another part of the update. So that's it. It's just we've been doing, that's not as in the episode, sorry, I'd never let you get away that lightly, but it's where the time has been over the last couple of weeks, and I'm always aware that I need to do these, but sometimes other things get in the way. So the next thing, again, a bit of a random order. The next thing is another hard drive failure. So I had a hard drive failure after we came out from holiday, and it was just over the 3-year warranty that they give you. And I've had a 5-year one since 2017, 5-year warranty. And these are, I didn't buy cheap external hard drives, but in my setup I used various drives. And that one went. It had some flaky issues. It wasn't running things that I would expect it to run. And you can do this kind of first aid thing and it said it couldn't unmount the disk, and then it could. And then it said, we recommend you back up your data immediately. Code, this is going to go any minute. Thankfully, I was able to identify the one that I wanted, which was a slightly smaller version of one that I bought to replace the other one back in June time. Whizzed up to London last Saturday morning to Wex over at Whitechapel, near where I used to work. And they had one left, which is great. I didn't reserve it, but I got lucky. I got there when the shop opened, so I had a good chance. And that was set up and working. It took a while to copy stuff over, but we got there. And then once that's done, and I've got all my local mirrored copies of data on my two discs, which helps when you have a disk failure that they're mirrored because you can just copy across. Then there's some other uploads that take place to the cloud, and obviously now I've got the setup that I mentioned in the first point. These things take place that much quicker. So didn't need that. It was just annoying. In some ways, it means that I've got a better visual on my new desk now. But hey, what's a visual? Well, it's where you see something. So now, last week, I think, you see I'm losing track already, I filmed a walk in Hamsey Green, and it's Hamsey Green, past the old quarry down to Kenley, back up the old Riddlesdown Road to Riddlesdown, and then back across the back of Sanderstead where I found the 150 gap in 150 Limpsfield Road. Really enjoyable, beautiful day. That's in edit at the moment. Hope to get that out fairly soon. Really enjoyed doing that one, and I filmed that on my GoPro, not my 360 camera. Probably most people wouldn't notice this, but I felt that the GoPro sometimes offers a better quality, broader across the spectrum of the picture. But anyway, I wanted to do it. I did it, and it worked really well. I'm also, in fact, I've just been working on this. I'm not really happy with the Tokyo video, despite the fact that it took me so long. I just don't think it. Every movie should have a defined beginning, middle, and end, and a hero. And I don't think I did that properly with Tokyo, even though it's just a travel vlog. I think I needed to do a bit more and to bring out the hero in it more. So I've taken out my commentary, my voiceover. I kind of didn't like that, really. And I've shrunk some other bits out, chopped them out. And I've done a cut. And, the numbers haven't been great. I thought the numbers would be better for something as big as that. Maybe I've got ideas about administration, but the numbers weren't as great in terms of analytics. So I'm going to ponder on that one, sleep on it, revisit my re-edit, and maybe just hit the delete button on that and then re-upload the replacement. Might do that soon. It's not the first time I've done that, but sometimes, if it doesn't feel right in the gut, then you shouldn't really go with it. So that's what I've been working on this morning. The football season has started. Crystal Palace registered a win away from home at Sheffield United on their first game, and then lost at home to Arsenal the other night. Gave away a terrible penalty. Referee was on the Arsenal side. That's my opinion. Time-wasting tactics. It just wasn't a great game. But and I've got a new seat. It's further back, but I get a much better view. I can see everything now, which I couldn't see before because railings are in the way. So I'm at least going to stay there this season. We'll see what happens, because eventually they're going to build a new stand and many of us will move over to that. Pilates continues, so I think I'm getting better at that. There's some exercises where I just can't do them. Lifting up using effectively your core, your stomach, from being on your back and then moving forward as I go away from the mic to explain it. I'll get there. There's some stuff I can do, exercises at home. It just makes you realise that there's muscles in there, and the lady who holds a class said it uses a lot of small muscles. There's muscles you just not use for like years, ever. No, but probably since school days. I never used to have any issues with sit-ups and things when I was yay high. So I've got to work on that. But other things are becoming a little bit freer. They use the terms like warming up and awakening certain aspects. But it's basically, you're either strengthening your core or you're adding flexibility. And those two combined make for a good set of end results. So I'm enjoying it. It's hard work, but I've got to keep doing it. You have to keep doing it. So the other thing I did was made a big book purchase. Now, this is big in two ways. It's big because the book's about 730 odd pages, and it was big on price. It was originally part of HMSO, Her Majesty's or His Majesty's Stationery Office. And I'm going to read you the title because I always forget it if I'm trying to remember it. It's The Royal Airforce Builds for War, A History of Design and Construction in the RAF, 1935 to 1945. This gives information to make more films. It provides information about one that I'm going to make in the next few weeks about the local Air Ministry War Repair Depot. I think I mentioned it before. This kind of mystery building that we found down the road with a camouflage roofs. And I found an online copy where it's like an internet library. It's a weird thing. You get a limited number of searches in a certain period of time, and then it kind of resets and you have to wait or go away for an hour or something. Very weird. And I knew people had said it was very expensive. It's quite sought after. It was actually in Oxfam's bookshop. So obviously it was in an Oxfam shop somewhere. they put it on their database, and they can offer it online. It's weird because normally it would qualify for free delivery, and they said this is a mandatory courier charge, but it still took about 5 days to arrive. Anyway, I've thumbed through it. It's brilliant. So it's basically instructions as to various types of build of buildings and constructions that took place during the war. Sounds possibly boring, I'll admit it, but I think these are some of the stories that aren't told. And I'm going to start by telling one with my current Air Ministry video or War Works Repair Depot video. I actually did a search on YouTube for that. Nothing. So when my video goes up there, it'll be the first one. More to do. What else did I do? I shot some musicians. That sounds a lot worse than it is. I went to the Meadow Folk and Blues Club. I used to do photography there a few years ago. Pandemic came. I did other stuff. And I wanted to make sure that I was keeping my hand in terms of low light photography and performers, photographing performers. So it was quite a quiet night there. They normally have, but it's holiday season. They normally have bigger numbers. So I've done some images. I'm going to actually give them away. It's my kind of little thank you, little gesture, plus it's practice. So I've just got to do a little bit more editing, and then whoever wants them can have them. So we'll get that moving. But it was good practice. It was good to actually get out there and do it. Now, I had a brilliant visit to Richard Gardner. Now, Hamsey Green Airfield was Gardner's airfield. Charles Gardner was one of the two sons, Charles and Jimmy, both brilliant pilots. Charles won the King's Cup Air Race in 1936-37. The brothers in the 60s won powerboat races, the big Cowes to Torquay race that takes place. In fact, it's possibly taking place today. It's this weekend, so I might keep an eye out for that. And he was a racer, Charles, and I just got fascinated by his story in particular. And I tracked down via his grandson, I tracked down his son, Richard. And we'd had a couple of conversations on the phone, and I went to see him over at his house last week. And what a visit that was. Lovely, lovely man, met his wife as well. He mentioned when we had a call about some kind of press cuttings and scrapbook information, and it was huge volume of information. And it was amazing to see that. And also it was a kind of life diary that he'd done, really, a story of his own life in his own words, Charles. And we had a nice cup of coffee and a chat. And I went through, not line by line reading every single story, but it was quite fascinating to get so close to, the great family themselves. I mean, Charles passed away in 1998, 99 time. Obviously never got to know him, which is a great shame. But yeah, the family had connections in Wallingham. They lived in, I think, the Westhall Road area in a couple of different properties. And it was just so special. I came out there and I just thought, wow, that's a serious, valuable experience that I've had there, to know more about the family. Now, what was nice is Richard said that I'd clearly done quite a bit of good research anyway, because I knew a lot of the story, but this still filled in some blanks. But I plan to do some talks at local history groups about the family. And now I've got, I think, a much fuller picture now, which is really great. So, excuse me. So, yeah, visit to Richard Gardner. That was absolutely first class. Really, really good. So I made a video about the firing up of a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. I think I'd mentioned that in the last... I should actually check, shouldn't I, when I've mentioned it before. But anyway, Merlin engine on a little kind of trailer. And I put that on YouTube, and I was just about to film the Hamsey Green video, the Hamsey Green walk. And I had a phone call. And it was the guy that actually did the startup of the engine. He actually does it with his father. And he liked my video. I always put a lot into an edit, even if it was just a sort of 3.5 minute video. So we had a chat about that and about various other related matters, and he was sharing information about his YouTube site where he does motoring stuff and old sirens, like air raid warning sirens. And I can't remember the exact number, but it was in double-digit millions of views of a 20-odd second video of a hand cranked siren starting up. Amazing what some people like on YouTube, but yeah, in the millions on his channel. So that was quite fascinating. So yeah, I mean, if our paths cross again, it'd be nice to meet up with him, because they tend to do shows, sort of motor shows or air shows. I guess if you've got an engine and propeller on a trailer, you could almost do both, because they're both of interest to the motoring community and obviously the aircraft and flight community. So that was good. I'm nearly there. I'm getting there. Last Sunday, we went up to Kenley Aerodrome in the afternoon because there was a flypast. So in the Battle of Britain, the 18th of August 1940 was known as the hardest day, because Kenley got an absolute battering from the Luftwaffe. Croydon was hit as well. I mean, it was a big onslaught lasting the whole day and beyond. But that was known as the hardest day. So they try and have some kind of mini event on the airfield itself on the nearest Sunday they can get. So this was last Sunday. And a hurricane flew over in sort of the night colours, night markings. Did a few loops and things, and took some photos, and Sue took some great video. And that was really nice to see. It was a couple of stands set up there. There was a bomb disposal one. There was the Kenley Revival. There was some other kind of reenactment style things, and yeah, nice little event. The weather behaved, which was good, and to hear and see the Merlin engine attached to a Hawker Hurricane was something very special. Always will be. I love that sound. In fact, the next one, the penultimate point, is about the Biggin Hill. Just checking on timing. I've rattled through this, actually. I'm not too bad. Yeah, I went to the Biggin Hill History Walk Part 2 last week, a couple of days ago. Now, I did Part 1, which was basically walking up and down the road, but still learning loads from Lulu, the guide there. And not Lulu, but her name's Lulu. And this one is to see the more rural side of Biggin Hill. So we cross over from the airport, go past some of the station master's house that was, and some of the existing accommodation, and then go down to the fields, which is looked after by the London Wildlife Trust and others. Come out to Leaves Green, which is it's called the Propeller now. I think it was a King's Head, but very popular pub with the pilots. And then walk back, also pointing out some of the other buildings on the way back to the base, as it were. It's a cracking place, Biggin Hill. Weirdly, even though I've had the museum membership for a couple of years now, never really spent quality time in there. I've dipped in and out. So I think Sue and I are going to plan to go up there one day, and we'll have a proper look around the museum and chapel, have a cup of tea and a cake or whatever they've got up there, and just give it some proper attention, really. I'd say I've seen a lot of it, and I know a lot of the stories, but it's good to see it in a museum context. And they do some great work up there. So, yeah, it was a really nice walk. It was a couple of hours. The weather wasn't great. It was raining a bit. But walking boots on, waterproofs on, hey ho, British summer. But it was really nice. So I'm not sure that they've got any other walks planned. I think they only do those two. What I want to do is to go on the other side of the airport. So you've got the road that we went on, the main road there, which is like the Bromley Road, I think. Goes down to Westerham ultimately on the other side. And then we kind of went behind that, but on the same side as the airfield. I want to go over to the other side of the airfield and do a walk around there. And I believe it is covered by a number of public footpaths. So what I need to do is get my OS Maps app out, which is brilliant. I used that to plan the Hampshire Green walk the other day, and plot my own route, and then find somewhere to park, do a walk around, and enjoy the other side of Biggin Hill Airport. Obviously, I'll have my binoculars and cameras and things. So that was that. And finally, today, Sue is on part 2 of filming up in sort of northwest London area. I suppose we would have called it Middlesex back in the day. So, she's been filming an ad up there, so that hopefully will be going live soon. The Revitive ad is still being shown quite regularly, and Sue still gets a number of messages saying, "You've just been on my telly." So, if you haven't seen it, check out Revitive and you'll see Sue in an ad. Good. So I did have a lot of content. Whenever I do things like that, when I've got a big kind of catch up to do, I often think, this is going to take about half an hour. But I managed to get it in. I slumped down again, haven't I? Oh, I don't know. bit late now. But I managed to get it in, I think, in a reasonable time. We're on about 20 minutes. So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching/listening once again to the Phil Swallow podcast. And I'll catch you in the next one.